Hey guys, J-Vape here. I'm ready to do a unboxing slash review of the new Smok R tank. I got this one from Mad Vapes. It was just under 20 bucks. I did open the box once before just to take a look at it, but I have not used it yet because I wanted to take a look at it with everything empty. So it comes in a nice little box here. When you open it up, it does have a pull handle. First thing is it has the instruction guide showing start to finish the process. Fortunately, this has been done for you for the most part. The wick isn't pre-installed. The 2-ohm wick is already in there, so we don't really need this. So I'm just going to put this off to the side for now. Inside the box, you will see the actual tank itself and 3 additional wick and coil assemblies. There's one at 3 ohms, there's one at 2.5 ohms, a 2 ohm, and then there's a 2 ohm already installed on the unit. So when we take it apart, you'll see that there's the traditional Smok mouthpiece, which I actually kind of like. To get the top off, you just have to press against the tank and unscrew it. Here you'll see your positive and negative post, as well as the pre-installed coil. Along with, there is a fill top here. To take the whole thing apart now, we'll unscrew the bottom. As you can see, the threads aren't that smooth, but then there's also an O-ring involved, so I guess that's to be expected. 510 connector on both sides, the O-ring side for the tank, a plastic tank, your power post, and of course your silicone or your wire that's hanging down to wick. This can be used with a stainless steel mesh. However, I do want to vape it out of the box how they have it packaged. Give you a quick little zoom in here. There you go. Good. And you can see that it is actually contacting pretty nicely on both sides. So let's go ahead and put this back together. So you slide the tank back up. Overall, the build feels pretty in line with the the Chinese knockoff metals. Feels very similar to my Lambo V2, which isn't necessarily to say a bad thing. I mean, when you compare this to a Genesis atomizer, you're looking at $20 versus $100 and up. So you have to factor that in as well. Some people price isn't an issue, but for 20 bucks, it's actually a pretty nice little package. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and fill this up with a little bit of e-liquid. So I'm going to pop this off. I have some NorCal Vapes Hawaiian Punch. This is actually my second bottle of the stuff, so I do know what it tastes like. And it's pretty potent flavored juice, so I figured it'd be a good thing to put in here to try. Take my blunt syringe. I'm going to put about 1 milliliter of juice in here. And it's certainly a good thing that I'm not a doctor or a nurse. As you can see, I would probably kill somebody with all the air that I'm putting into this syringe. Alright. Yeah, this is pretty much near death if I were to put this into somebody's veins. Alright, that should be enough. Just to get the point across. So I have, well, after pulling out about 1 milliliter, I have about half to 3/4. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into the fill hole and just squirt it right on down. All the air included. I'm going to put a little bit, just a touch more in there. Now, the instructions do say that you could drip right into the hole, but I'd rather not take chances with that and just simply go with a syringe. couple extra seconds doesn't make much of a difference to me, and the lack of a mess is probably the best way to go. Alright, that's enough for now. Let's see, put the plunger in the hole. Good. So we have essentially a fully completed Smok R tank, and what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to put this on my Lambo, one so you can see the resistance and also to see how it vapes. Alright, what we'll do is we'll get the wicking going here. Alright, so first things first, what we'll do is we'll check so what they said is correct. It is a 2 ohm resistance coil, and it does look like the wick is starting to come up through the up to the heating coil. So what we'll do is I have this set right now to 3.7 volts of resistance. So let's go ahead and see how this thing vapes without me putting any sort of mouthpiece on or anything along those lines. And it's definitely putting off a decent amount of vapor. Alright, and the air is very flavorful smelling. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is put this on, and we'll see how it vapes. Hey, so I went ahead and filled up the tank with a little bit more juice just to prevent any wicking issues. With playing around with it, I did notice one issue. So I'm using the Lambo, which has the 510 spring-loaded connector with a drip well. If I tighten this up all the way down, there is absolutely no airflow. So it becomes unvapable. So in order for me to get this anywhere, close to usable, I need to back this off significantly. Okay, now we should be good. So let's give this a quick vape. Alright, so I prefer a tighter draw. Coming off analogs recently, I find that I do like that the tighter draw kind of intensifies the flavor and gives me a nice little throat hit. With backing it off, you can actually hear it. It becomes pretty airy compared to, say, a Cardo tank. Flavor for flavor, with this I am using the NorCal Vapes Hawaiian Punch. It is an 18 milligram, and the juice is actually really good. This is the second 30 ml bottle I've had of it. The first one was 24, now 18. And the taste of it when you're dripping and everything is spot on to red Hawaiian Punch. Having said that, the flavor on this compared to, say, this, which has actually the same juice in it, it's definitely a sweeter flavor. So I think the flavor is definitely more pronounced in this than in the Cardo tank, and very close to dripping. And I typically drip either a 510 or 306, whatever my mood, kind of comes to me. But this is close to dripping flavor. The problem is that the draw is so airy that the vape becomes kind of light, and it just doesn't give you that I'm looking for. Now, I have seen they've come out with tank adjusters that screw on the bottom where you can control the airflow. I think that might do quite a bit of good for this device, or for this tank, to kind of raise it off the connector and give it the airflow that it needs, because once I back it off so I can actually see the air hole, it becomes very wiggly on the device. So even when I put it, you can actually see the flex. Having said that, I'll give it one more vape. I am vaping. This is a 2 ohm coil at 3.7 volts. So the vapor and flavor is good. Occasionally I will get a dry hit. Once I start breaking 4.2, 4.3, it's dry almost every time. The wick is definitely saturated. I check for hot spots beforehand, and it's nice and even. But yeah, once you get up to 4.2, 4.3, it's all dry. Now, let's talk about the device itself. This is not a $100 rebuildable Genesis or Genesis clone, or the handmade ones that are going around. It's not that. It's metal on the bottom. Has the same, almost the same type of feel as my Lambo cap at the bottom. The top is plastic. It's a $20 device. I can't really knock it for that. All in all, the build quality is decent. Everything fits. There's no leaking. There is that little stopper at the top. So, I mean, it's not going to, leak on you or anything like that. And it does wick pretty well. My biggest problem is the airiness of the draw. And that, I think, is partially my device issue, where perhaps if it was seated flat, though I don't really see it, there's no way for air to get through here at all. I mean, it's locked down there. So I think one of those tank airflow adjusters would definitely go a long way with this. But having said that, for 20 bucks, you have a decent rebuildable atomizer, decent flavor. I think it might even go up a little bit more once you put a stainless steel wick in it. I do have some mesh and some Kanthal, so I do want to try that out as well. But out of the box, I think they should have planned a little bit better for airflow. The wiggliness of this, I mean, the whole purpose of why I use a tank is I like to, set it down when I'm at work or at home, pick it up and vape. And, when knocking this down, I have to double check to make sure, because, I mean, even just a little, nothing. And this isn't even kissed up all the way. It's still wiggly and no airflow. I mean, that's how far out I have to take it. If you can kind of see how far off it actually has to be from the connector. But again, $17.99. I got it from Mad Vapes. Good price, and you could definitely tinker with it. Out of the box, probably not the most perfect product, but again, $18. So one more, and I'll wrap it up. Not enough air. Decent vapor. Loud. It is loud. I mean, if I put this on, same juice in a Cardo tank. And this is, that's showing 1.9, so same thing. More vapor, tighter draw, more throat hit. Mixed recommendations on it. It's definitely worth giving it a try. If you're like me, this is my first rebuildable. I'm not unhappy with the purchase. It definitely needs some tinkering, and I definitely got to get an airflow controller, and I think we'll be okay. But again, this is the Smok R-Tank Mad Vape $17.99. J Vapes, thanks for watching. Have a good one.